welcome. I'm going to call our meeting to order. It is, 6:59, a minute ahead of time. It's exciting. Before I move on, and there's lots of people here today, which is wonderful. The exits, if there is a fire or an alarm goes off, are in the back, right here and here, and then there's also an exit behind me to the left. So just want to make sure everybody knows that. So first, I need a motion to approve the agenda for the meeting.
So moved.
Lisa?
Second.
Brian, all in favor? Aye, 7-0. And I think that brings us to our Board of Education recognition.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brett Provenzano, proud superintendent of the Fairport Central School District. Governor Hochul has declared this week, the week of October 13th to the 17th, actually last week, as a time to recognize Board of Education members for their service to the communities and to the children of New York State. For us, our recognition is today, October 21st, 2025. Board of Education meeting is an opportunity to show our appreciation to our board members for their untiring dedication and commitment to the Fairport community and the education for all our children. This is a great night for us to say thank you and express our levels of appreciation. The Board of Education, again, the last time I checked, this is a work of the heart, and it's a work of passion to contribute to a wonderful cause, and that is our students. They do not get paid. Their payment is seeing the joy and excitement and experiencing nights like this to be a part of this incredible community. So we're here tonight to celebrate our Board of Education. We are going to start out with the proclamation. We got Meredith Kloos. Mrs. Kloos, why don't you come to the forefront and we'll begin our presentation.
Oh, before you start, there's, the green light.
We'll try again. Round two. Good evening. On behalf of the staff, students, PTA, and the entire Brooks Hill School community, we would like to recognize our Fairport Board of Education by giving the proclamation tonight.
We have with us 5th graders Drew McKenna and Cam Baker, along with 3rd grader Connor Sunberg. These three gentlemen are important members of our Brooks Hill community and regularly show their enthusiasm and Raider spirit.
Whereas the week of October 13th through 17th was Board of Education Recognition Week in the state of New York, and whereas the members of our Board of Education, Ms. Erica Bellis-Pacer, Ms. Lisa Christensen, Mrs. Janice Fortuna, Dr. Brian Moritz, Mr. Richard Mueller, Ms. Nicole Thibault, and Dr. Mary Caitlin White have demonstrated their dedication and commitment to the Fairport community, and
whereas this commitment includes making sure that all Fairport children have access to an equal education because the children of Fairport represent the future, and whereas the outstanding effort and dedication of the Board of Education to the whole child makes our school community an awesome place to learn and grow, and
whereas the students of Brooks Hill School show appreciations for the Board of Education members who give their time and energy to this challenging and worthwhile cause. Therefore, we, the Brooks Hill School community, along with all the Fairport schools, do hereby recognize that the week of October 13th through the 17th was Board of Education Recognition Week, and urge all Fairport Raiders to come together to participate in giving thanks to our Board of Education members.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next on the docket, we're going to have Mr. Charno and Ms. Busby come up, and they're going to celebrate and recognize Ms. Janice Fortuna. Excuse my back.
First off, shout out to our neighbors at Brooksell. That proclamation is not easy to read, and you guys rocked it. Kudos to that. That was fantastic. Good evening, everybody. Ryan Cherno, proud principal at Jefferson Avenue, and just want to start and share from everybody at JA our appreciation for your advocacy and support. And I have some special guests here who are going to help me express that and share that. So I have my counterpart, Amy Busby. I have our PTA president, Kirsten Weeks. I have our PTA vice president, Rebecca Lasky, and two third graders who are extremely important leaders at Jefferson Avenue. They exhibit the Raider Way each and every day, and they are here to help share our appreciation and gratitude. So I have third grader Max Weeks and third grader Kisan Lasky, and they are going to come up to start our appreciation. So guys, come
When we learned that we would be recognizing Miss Fortuna for her service on the Board of Education, we sent her some questions about things we were wondering about. We thought we would share some of what we learned.
Mrs. Fortuna has served on the Board of Education since 2022, and she was elected last spring to serve another 3-year term.
Mrs. Fortuna loves the Fairport community. She has 2 daughters at FHS. She ran for the Board of Education because she wanted to make sure every student in Fairport had a chance to learn in exciting and meaningful ways, not just in the classroom, but through lots of fun and important experiences.
Mrs. Fortuna told us how important collaboration is on the Board of Education, just like in our classrooms. She told us all of the research and listening you do as you make decisions for our schools. Each of you has different strengths, and you all work together to make our school district the best it can be for all of us.
What Mrs. Fortuna loves about most of the Board of Education is how much you all care about our schools, and her favorite thing to do is visiting the schools.
Nice job, boys. We would like to recognize Mrs. Fortuna with a book in her name that will be housed in the JA Library. We have chosen the book When I Smile, written by Joe Wittick. This book is about all the different kinds of smiles and how they make us and others feel. This book goes with our JA theme, Be the Reason Someone Smiles, and represents the joy that Mrs. Fortuna brings to the Board of Education and to our schools.
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mrs. Fortuna for her unwavering dedication and commitment to the Fairport Schools community. Her leadership, along with the collective efforts of the entire board, plays a vital role in creating an environment where students, staff, and families feel supported, inspired, and valued. Your advocacy has helped shape a school district that prioritizes academic excellence, inclusivity, and the well-being of every student.
The positive impact of your work is evident in the smiles and enthusiasm we see throughout our schools each day. Thank you, Mrs. Fortuna, and thank you to all of the Board of Ed members for your steadfast commitment, thoughtful leadership, and the countless hours you dedicate to making Fairport Schools a place where our entire community can thrive. We deeply appreciate all that you do.
These are all tough acts to follow. I don't know. I think we're gonna have our friends from Dudley come, Sarah Welch, and I think Mr. Spadoni's around here too.
Here.
I think I saw him. Oh, there you go. It just gets cuter. I love it.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Welsh. I'm the principal at Dudley, and I'm with
Mr. Spadoni, the assistant principal at Dudley.
and
Emma
Stuckey is our student representative here tonight. So we just want to thank each of you. We know how much work goes into being here might feel like every day, but every other week for meetings and all of the work that you put outside. So thank you. And this evening we are recognizing Dr. Brian Moritz, a proud Fairport parent.
a former PTA dad, and a tireless advocate for our students and public education in general. Brian's energy and commitment have made a lasting impact on our schools.
Brian is known for his fierce advocacy, traveling to Albany, staying up to date on educational policies, and always standing up for Fairport students and teachers. He's deeply committed to making public education stronger for everyone. Thank you.
You listen to everyone and care about our schools and our community. You help make Fairport a great place for kids like me. In your honor, we're giving a new book to our library called Bruce Saves the Planet. In the story, Bruce tries to save the planet. Just like you, work hard to take care of our schools. Thank you.
Dr. Moritz, thank you for everything.
No one wants to come up, but I'm gonna have Mr. Monticelli come up right now. Mr. Monticelli is going to celebrate Rich Muller and Patricia McGrath, please. I think you can handle that. I think you got it.
I don't know. I'm just gonna try to not mess it up too bad. Good evening, everybody. Dominic Monticelli, the very proud principal of Minerva DeLand. Joined here by Ellie Mueller, Angie Torres, and Patricia McGrath, our assistant principal at Minerva DeLand, a PTSA rep for MD and FHS, and ninth grade extraordinaire, Eleanor. I say this all the time, but these are challenging times we live in, right? It's never been harder to be a student, to be an educator, to be a parent, to be a board member, to say the least. So thank you to our entire Board of Education. We are always supported by you and feel like we can just show up to work and do what's best for students every day because of your service and all you do. So thank you. You didn't come here to listen to me talk, clearly by all the cute factor in here. So on behalf of the entire MD family, thank you to everybody. I'm going to turn it over to Ellie to present our book on behalf of her dad to the MD Library and eventually the Fairport High School Library. So, Ellie.
My dad is very dedicated to helping our school. When I started swimming when I was 10, I caught interest because my dad swam while in high school. Over the years, it's been a sport that I can say I'm proud to share with my dad. He has been motivational, helpful, and kind every step of the way, and I'm so glad that we have something important in common. I chose the book Freedom Swimmer because I think it's a good symbol of hard work and dedication my dad does on the school board. He always helps others, and especially me, when I have any questions about swimming, and he's there for everyone in Fairport. This book is dedicated to him because it is about I'm going to read this, okay? Ming, who is shy and resigned to his fate, loves the ocean, its murmuring, its offer to freedom, and its ability to drown his fears. Swimming not only gives him peace and confidence, but brings him closer to his father and the strength of his dream of reaching Hong Kong. At the time of the novel setting, Hong Kong is a British colony, and many desperate people sought the dream of freedom by attempting to reach its shores. The ocean helps Ming forget the pangs of hunger in his belly and the backbreaking labor that is demanded in the field.
We are now going to have our Martha Brown leaders come forward, Becky Short and Danielle Fry. They're going to be celebrating Lisa Christensen.
Good evening. Oh, this is cool. Yeah. Thank you to the Board of Education and Superintendent Provenzano for allowing us to present during School Board Appreciation Week. It is our honor and privilege to recognize Lisa Christensen. Mrs. Christensen is mom to Claire, Rosemary, Ruth, and James. Mrs. Christensen works on the board supporting staff, students, the PTSA, and building administrators at Martha Brown. We thank you for your advocacy as well as your overall love of our students and this community. I am joined today by students Rosemary Christensen, Dominic Caminetti, and Olivia Stevens, who are not only Martha Brown students, but are on the team that Lisa Christensen coaches in Odyssey of the Mind, as well as Assistant Principal Danielle Fry. So I'm going to have our students come up and say a little bit.
Good evening. This year, Martha Brown Middle School is excited to recognize board member Mrs. Lisa Christensen for all the time and hard work she puts into supporting the Fairport School District. Mrs. Christensen spends a lot of her own time working with the other Board of Education members to help make sure every student in Fairport gets a great education.
In addition to that, she makes time for all of her kids, and even though she is very busy, she still makes time to coach 3 Odyssey of the Mind teams and is very flexible with anything that comes up. We really appreciate everything she does for our schools.
On behalf of Martha Brown PTSA, we'd like to give Miss Christensen, my mom, a small gift to thank you. It's a book called Photo Basics by Joe Sator. It's a fun guide that teaches you how to take great photos, from learning about cameras and lighting to practicing with photos of nature, travel, and family. It even gives tips for using just your phone.
Mrs. Christensen, again, thank you for all that you do to support our students and staff in the Fairport Central School District. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Martha Brown. Friends, right now we're going to be celebrating Erica Ballas-Pacer, our Northside leaders. Mrs. Moretter, and I think Mr. Slack is here too. Please welcome them.
On behalf of Northside School, thank you all for your commitment to our schools and the Fairport community. We appreciate everything that you do, and we look forward to your visit to Northside School. Tonight, we have superstar Northside hero, 5th grader Fiona Lewis, with us to recognize Mrs. Erica Ballas-Pacer.
We decided this book, Brave by Stacy McAnulty, to Mrs. Ballas-Pacer, whose service to our school community exemplifies the very spirit of courage and dedication we celebrate. For the past 6 years, Mrs. Pacer has been a steady presence on our school board. As the current president, she leads with kindness and a genuine warmth that touches every student, staff member, and family. She doesn't just attend meetings, she shows up day in and day out with remarkable care for the well-being and success of everyone in our community. The book Brave shows us that courage is not about the absence of fear, but about standing up and doing what is right, even when it is tough. Courage is a quiet, powerful strength. Mrs. Pacer, you are the personification of this lesson. You tackle challenges with grace, you build bridges with compassion, and you inspire us to be better. Thank you for your service and your fearless commitment to the Fairport community, and showing us all what it truly means to be brave. With deep gratitude, the staff and students of Northside School.
Great job. It's amazing how they capture the essence of who these wonderful board members are. Great job. To continue with the great presentations, we're going to have our leaders from Joanna Perrin, Pat Grove, and Casey Ferrando. Please come up. And they're going to be presenting Dr. Mary Caitlin White.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks so much for having us here today, everybody. And on behalf of our staff and PTSA at JP, we're here to honor Dr. Mary Caitlin White.
Just want to thank you all for everything that you do for our schools and our district. And we have 2 wonderful students here from JP, Bridget and Grace, who are going to talk more about the book.
Good evening. My name is Bridget McDermott, and I'm in the 8th grade at JP.
we'd like to recognize board member Mary Caitlin White.
And my name is Grace Walker, and we'd like to dedicate a book in our library to her titled The Stormkeeper's Island.
The book is about 11-year-old Finn Boyle, who knows that places can be just as important as people. They can have the same power over you if you let them. Finn and his sister are spending the summer with their grandfather Malachi Boyle on Arnmore Island off the coast of Ireland. Nestled among the unpredictable wildflowers is Finn's ancestral home, a rickety cottage stuffed with eclectic candles.
As Finn quickly learns, Arnmore holds secrets. Every generation, a stormkeeper is chosen and imbued with the magic of the sea. They wield power over the elements and record moments in time in the form of candles. Malachi's time as Arnmore's stormkeeper is ending, and another family on the island is vying for the position. The possibility of reigniting a centuries-long war between the forces of good and evil is also at stake for those who would be the next stormkeeper.
Doyle's prose explodes with lyrical language as she deftly explores themes of loss, guilt, and how memory weighs on one's soul. Malachi's struggles with dementia feel entirely relatable to those with family members also struggling with the condition, and are inextricably woven into the fantasy narrative. Doyle proves with this exquisite debut that she is a middle-grade fiction author to watch, and readers can look forward to the continuing adventures of the Stormkeeper.
We hope you enjoyed this book inspired by the real-life Arnmore Island off the coast of County Donegal, Ireland, and we thank you and all of our Board of Education members for your time and service to the Fairport Central School District.
Continuing on with our ceremony, we would like to have Fairport High School Principal Bob Clark come forward to celebrate Nicole Tebow, board member.
Always appreciate the challenge of following all of that. Thank you for that. Thankfully, Emerson was up for this. So I reached out to Emerson about a month ago to say, can you help me out here? And was really excited about that. So joining us, pulling double duty, our PTSA president, of course. Thank you for being here to support us. On behalf of the entire staff at FHS, thank you so much for everything that you do. A lot of hours. And it's not just the policy stuff, it's all the buildings and grounds stuff, all the work that's going on in our building, just to have a hand in that and a vision for that. We just thank you for that so much. And again, without further ado, Emerson is here to present to his mother for her service. And he was very excited about this. Came a couple hours early, just so you know, and was ready to go. So, Emerson, thank you so much.
All right. So hi. So first of all, surprise. You didn't know I was coming here. So a month back when I was in class and I got a phone call down to Mr. Clark's office. Besides the have the mini heart attack, I knew I had to take this opportunity to present in front of you because I'm the last one. So of the books I could choose, I chose one that most represents us and the journey that we've been through and my two siblings through the Fairport school system and beyond that. The book is called On Assignment, Memoir of National Geographic Filmmaker by James Larson. The book is about a couple going on adventures through the wilds of Earth, crashing a plane in Alaska, dodging sharks in the Great Barrier Reef, and climbing dangerous mountains. And it just reminded me of what we've been through. First, with my brother, when you went to Sea Base, an island off of the Florida Keys, and you saw a major reef, saw sharks, and you saw us grow as people as we explored and grew up. And then we went to Costa Rica. We rappelled down 100-foot waterfalls and climbed up the inside of a dead tree. We've walked the streets of New York and the deserts of Arizona, hang out in Mexico and touring Canada. We've done so much together. And yet, in 8 months, it'll be summer, and all of us will be adults with jobs and going to college. But we will do it, and we have so many more adventures left to go. When running this about 4 hours ago, in between GSA and running for club officer, then moving drama club and running around, I always know I have a mom with best cookies and soup, and also always telling me to get my work done, or like not even like 15 minutes ago texting me about the Boston trip rooming. I know you always support me through everything. As this is book dedication. I'm required to thank you for being part of the board, and thank you for being such a support voice for LGBTQ plus people in the community and people who are neurodivergent in the school. I love you, and I can't wait to go to the next adventure.
Great job. Last but definitely not least, we're going to have Maddie Power, Assistant Principal, coming down to speak about our two newest board members, ex officio members, Nora Bronte and Mallory Foote.
Hello. Didn't think we could have an evening of recognition without recognizing our two newest members. So good evening. Tonight we have the privilege of recognizing two exceptional young leaders who have served as the inaugural ex officio student members of the Fairport Board of Education, Senior Nora Brilante and Mallory Foote, Jr. In a year where we formalized the importance of the student perspective with the new state law, Nora and Mallory aren't simply fulfilling the position, but they are establishing the blueprint for how Fairport will integrate student voice for years to come. The commitment required for this role is significant. They've mastered the demanding responsibility of acting as true representatives. Through the start of their visits to each school, they've begun compiling and synthesizing information from across the district. Nora and Mallory ensure every school within the district has a voice through sharing student perspectives. Their dedication to providing a full, holistic view of our schools is invaluable. Beyond your monthly updates, Nora and Mallory consistently provide thoughtful, direct student insight on board agenda items based on their personal experiences. I heard this when you guys were talking about your experience in APs, I think last month. They keep the board connected to the pulse of the student body, ensuring the voices of their peers are heard and considered, helping to inform the direction of the district. Nora, as our senior member, you've led with maturity and diligence, setting an extraordinarily high standard for all student representatives in the future. Mallory, your dedication and thoughtful approach confirm the value of the two-year succession model. We're incredibly proud of the foundation you both have laid for future ex officio student members of the Board of Education. On behalf of the entire Fairport community, thank you, Nora and Mallory, for your service, your engagement, and your incredible leadership.
How about, let's give a big round of applause to our amazing student speakers and administrators. I don't remember a year where the stories were so true and how they resonated and reflected the heart of all of our board members. So thank you so much. And please, let's give a heartfelt, warm applause to our board of education. Thank you for your service and dedication to everything Fairport. Thank you.
Okay. We are going to move on with the rest of our business meeting, and you are more than welcome to stay and learn about audits and a variety of other topics we'll be talking about. But if you want to leave now, it would be totally fine, because I think it's, yep. stay. So I know there's folks that did stay, so thank you. We are up to our public comments, and I think the board is always happy to have public comment. We actually have some tonight. We haven't in quite a while, so exciting. There is a slide up that just kind of reminds folks of what it looks like. So each speaker will have 3 minutes. We will have a timer, and I usually try to alert everybody that there's 10 seconds left so that you know to wrap up. Sometimes I do 30 seconds. I guess I'll do 30 seconds. Additionally, when you are speaking, just make sure that you aren't using specific names of students or staff in the district or folks outside of the district. And just reminders that not to use inappropriate language or make any threatening statements. So the actual slide is right up there so you can read it. I will call each person's name before they come up, and then if there's anything that you did want to give to the board, it can be handed to our lovely clerk, Sarah, over there. So we're going to get started with Marilee Priest. You can come right up to the podium. Marley. Sorry, Marley.
You can correct us anytime. Is the little light green? Okay.
Now it is.
There you go.
And then let us say start so you don't waste any. We don't want to take away any of your time.
Thank you.
So whenever you are ready.
All right, so we're Fairport High School Drama Club officers.
My name is Daniel Dozer.
I'm Oriana Toner.
I'm Cameron Hyman.
I'm Tyler Fleming.
And my name is Marley Priest, and I'm here to represent my peers on cast and crew as a student leader. We seek a club that is growth-oriented, relevant in today's creative arts fields, and successful at creating friendship amongst all involved in the production, whether a member of cast or crew. We are concerned that our current advisor structure limits the success of our club through lack of adult capacity for mentoring students in lights, sound, props, hair, makeup, costumes, and cast. There are many challenges involving communication and coordination, and it seems that adult advisors are stretched too thin to guide all students to move towards a shared vision of production. Our crew is struggling to stay engaged because they don't have an adult to lead them through steps of skill growth, and current club advisor energy is generally directed explicitly towards seniors and cast. Through redesign in the club, we have eliminated student crew heads that in the past have been used to delegate tasks so that everyone does not report to one adult. We also eliminated many of our other student leadership roles. And so there are no student leaders to teach the art of sounds, lights, props, and all aspects of the production to underclassmen. Truthfully, at this time, many of our club members are overlooked, even on cast, and we as leaders believe the solution is more invested adults. In our club, we have 70 to 90 students participating in each production, but only 2 adult advisors. Sports teams with 1/4 this involvement have double this. We urge the school board to consider investing in 2 additional advisors to guide the club students and ensure each area of our theater department has a school-sanctioned leader helping to coordinate the massive undertaking of producing high-quality theater. Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to restart it so we give Ari as much time as well. And I am just going to make a comment. It's hard when folks come and do public comments because the board, we're not supposed to ask questions or make comments back. So we're not trying to be rude. We're just doing what the procedure is. But if you do have questions or comments or things that you want to email to us, that is absolutely okay. And also Mr. Provenzano or maybe Mr. Clark as well. So just wanted to make that clear. If you're seeing us all sitting here not speaking, it's not that we're not interested and we might have questions, but during a business meeting, we have to keep the protocol. So, Ari, tell us when you're ready.
3 minutes is up.
Yes, my 3 minutes is up, exactly. So, whenever you're ready, Ari.
I'd like the 30-second warning, please.
I will do that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, my name is Oriana Toner. Apologies for the attire. I came from the soccer scrimmage. I'm speaking as a student representative of Drama Club, especially to offer more perspective as a crew member. It is evident more advisors are needed because sacrifices are being made at the expense of student experiences and learning opportunities. Marley has already done an excellent job, so as not to be redundant, I will be focusing on examples while remaining anonymous. Personally, I've been on softball teams with 20 people that have 2 coaches, flag football teams with 25 players that have at least 2 coaches, sometimes 3, and the soccer team that I play on has 4 coaches with only 24 players on the team. Additionally, that soccer team has a goalie coach that specifically just works with 2 of our goalie keepers, Mal being one of them. We are asking for something similar for drama club, more advisors to assist with specific crews and cast, and try to even out that ratio a bit more. Currently, there are not enough adults to oversee all aspects of the crew. There are no crew heads this year, as mentioned. Instead, every crew member was assigned individual tasks, reducing the knowledge they gained by replacing what they would have learned on sub-crews, such as lights, sound, props, hair, makeup, costumes, sets, etc. This also means all crew members report to one advisor, who is also responsible for directing the cast. It is worth noting current success is accredited to the previous system we had where upperclassmen were able to train underclassmen to pass down skills and knowledge. Splitting up tasks works well when everyone already knows what they are doing, but when individual tasks are set from the beginning, you may get a student that is really proficient in a singular task, but not generally knowledgeable. Also, what happens when that student graduates? Does the teaching of a replacement fall to an advisor that is already spread too thin? Additionally, a lot of the knowledge was taught during set builds, which have been cut down drastically so as not to overwhelm our only 2 advisors. Still, set builds remain an incredibly valuable opportunity for crew to learn a lot at once and to provide additional rehearsal time for cast. Furthermore, the few advisors we have mean management aspects are less clear, causing confusion over which days crew members should attend, and if so, if there will actually be an opportunity for them or not to be productive. It can be difficult to get everyone coordinated to start rehearsals on time as well, cutting into our progress as a club. The current state of this production is something we aim to improve, not only for now, but going forward this year and even preparing for next year when more changes will occur. We would love to create a fantastic, complex musical with even more student engagement and involvement. Still, we are combating negative experiences students currently have and run the risk of totally overwhelming our 2 advisors. We are very privileged at
You're at
Fairport
30
High School
seconds.
to have an invested creative director and knowledgeable sound advisor, yet there are still multiple opportunities for stage managers and crew-specific advisors. We would like to thank you very much for purchasing necessary equipment for successful shows. We really appreciate those. They're really fun to work with, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Would it be terrible if I just asked one question? Or we don't
So, and yeah, again, I would say feel free to email and reach out, and then, you know, we can,
Are you guys allowed to email us your questions you have?
No, we can share them with Mr. Provenzano though.
And then Mr. Provenzano.
We'll be back in touch. This is
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry.
great information, great present.
To provide with more information.
Yeah.
or
You know
answer
what?
any-
Within a week or so, we will be meeting in Mr. Clark's office with, I think, Ms. Power, whoever's in charge of the. So
We have.
stay
Yep.
tuned.
And we have another speaker. So I think Rebecca. Yep.
Oh, I
Thank
apologize.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, my
Thank you
gosh.
all for being here. How blessed we are to be a part of this community. It's pretty special. Connor, the young man in the bow tie, was actually my PVNS student, so it was exciting to see him. I come here today in support of the drama club as the reluctant drama club boosters leader. Just to give you some perspective, they talked a bit about the enormity of the lift of putting on really, really classy productions for our community. But they didn't allude to the parent taxing, and as all of you know, most of the parents who are busiest are the ones who are doing the biggest lift. So there are 90 kids involved and about 5 parents who support. It is difficult to get parental support from 215 to 5 when the kids need support and supervision, or when we're being kind of asked to support as a booster club. And further, some of the requests that the kids are making, I think you can just tell, like, these are the busiest, brightest kids. I mean, they represent sports teams, multiple, I don't need to tell you, right? Multiple music and theater events, multiple leadership, NHS. They are high achievers and committed, passionate young people. I keep hearing a rhetoric of power, that kids want power. I don't think that's accurate. I really think what they want is a democratic process. And I think that's the concern, is the process that's being held. So I appreciate the school board for listening. I appreciate Mrs. Power's partnership. She's been a Class A example of a partner for the Booster Club. And I just hear the kids wanting to come to you saying, hey, please hear us. So thank you for listening.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
I didn't have to do the warning. It's all ready. Thank you. And just to clarify, I do know that Mr. Provenzano and Mr. Clark will most likely be reaching out to you. We do have your emails, and we can, if there's clarification I think Mr. Provenzano will reach out for sure. And we appreciate your advocacy and being willing to come and speak with us, because it can be a little intimidating, I'm sure.
And I'll be reporting back to the board.
Yep. Thanks.
Great job.
If you want to sneak out, it's okay.
Yeah.
You got things to do, for sure.
Leadership papers tonight. What was your topic?
And Marley, good job singing at homecoming. That was great. Okay. And we actually have a presentation, and I was scanning. Yep. So, Mr. Tom Zuber, you are up to do our external financial audit review for the year ending June 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Nardone. Yes, sir. Great, thank you. I can really clear out a room, can't I? Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come before the Board of Education to just present the basic financial statements for the school district as of June 30th, 2025. As you know, these are the results of a budget process that you started more than 2 years ago. So there's a lot of things that have happened over those past 2 years. So again, something to keep in mind that it's a result of a budget process that was started, over 2 years ago. We did meet with the audit committee back on October 15th. We had a nice discussion. We talked about year-over-year variances. We talked about budgets. We talked about budget variances, reserves, fund balances, internal controls, checks and balances. So we did have a very nice discussion. I'm pleased to report we did issue an unqualified opinion, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So that really is the opinion you're looking for when it comes to the audit of the basic financial statements. So that's very positive. Just like many school districts, again, you still continue to face many challenges. Obviously, state aid uncertainty, property tax cap challenges, employee benefit challenges, inflation, even some uncertainty at the federal level, and how that will impact the flow of aid or the different types of programs school districts can offer. So again, a lot of challenges out there, and again, the district continues to be in good financial condition, and we really look at that, or when we look at that, we are looking at how does the district develop their reserves and their long-term plans. That's really a key to maintaining a good, strong financial position. Some of the key reserves that the school district has: the employee retirement contribution system, the teacher's retirement contribution reserve. You've got the different capital reserves that the district has used and developed over the years, and you also have some other flexible reserves that are out there that are very beneficial, especially in some uncertain times. So again, you're doing a nice job in developing those reserves, talking about the reserves during the budget process. In fact, the capital reserve, as you know, really does help reduce the local impact to the taxpayers. And of course, I think just in September, you did approve using some of those capital reserve dollars. So not only have you developed those reserves over the years, you are using those reserves through the voter process, especially those capital reserves. So again, very, very beneficial to the long-term fiscal health of the school district. A couple of the other items that we did talk about, we talked about the fact that you are appropriating reserves and fund balance to support your budget process. So I think a little over $10.6 million you're using to support your budget for the 25-26 year. Again, for a district this size, certainly an area that you want to make sure you're monitoring. I think that's up, I think almost $2 million from the prior year. Okay, so again, that you have to remember that you need to generate budgetary surpluses equal to that number just to break even. So the higher that number is, the more difficult it is to manage your budget. So again, just keeping that in mind as you continue to look to develop your budgets. Okay, so we did spend some time on that. A couple of the other things we did talk about, we did talk about your school lunch program. Again, you're doing a nice job there. You did have a planned use of fund balance in your school lunch program there, but as you know, this year all of the students are receiving free meals, right? So I'm sure, like many other districts, your participation is up, which will really help the financial results of that program. So another very, very good program to have in place. Okay. So a couple of the other items we did talk about. We did talk about internal controls, checks and balances. Again, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, which is very positive. A few minor procedural items. I think one minor procedural item that we talked about is one item we talked about that was implemented from last year. So again, that's very positive from the audit standpoint. It shows that the district is looking at our recommendations, reacting to the recommendations, which really goes a long way on the audit process. So again, very positive from our standpoint. So overall, again, you ended the year in good financial position. Unqualified opinion, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies. You're looking at your reserves, you're developing your reserves, you're doing a very nice job there. Okay. Any questions?
As Peter Forsgren always said, the most beautiful words in auditing.
And just thanks, Tom, for being such a great partner. The presentation of the audit is pretty much governed by the accounting standards, so lots of financial terms, but we did have a nice practical discussion about what the results mean, what it means for our planning, and that was really helpful, so thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so up next we have our school student advisor report.
Hi, this month we visited Martha Brown Middle School, and it was our first official visit to a different school. So we've got a lot of good input. Some of the kids we talked to were here, and then they snuck out, but it was nice to see them again. Some things that are going well at Martha Brown are the sixth graders reported that it was their favorite school yet, due to the staff members and how they treated students, because they were very flexible and very helpful, and they almost had all positive comments, so that was really nice to hear all of what they liked about the big change from elementary to middle school. Everyone really liked getting back into the swing of things and seeing the people they hadn't seen in a while. They were positive about the start of the year, which was really good. The sixth graders enjoyed their independence. The phone ban hasn't really affected anything. I know that before Martha didn't usually have their phones out a lot, but all the kids we talked to didn't seem to mind it, and no one had been getting in trouble or anything. It hadn't been a big issue. And then the main thing that they really enjoyed were clubs. The seventh graders all shared that they loved being a part of modified sports and being involved with that, and then all the extracurriculars. And we asked them, is there anything you could add or anything? And they said no, that Martha Brown had a lot of really good options, and they had everything and more that they wanted or needed. And then the final thing is that they love the free lunches and breakfast. So,
One piece of advice that we got from the students that was seen throughout all three grades was that so many kids love free lunch and breakfast that the lines are just getting really long. And they explained that, at least for lunch, the cafeteria aides call tables to go to the lunch line, so it's not like a madhouse there at the beginning of the period, but that the last few tables to get called each day only have 10 to 5 minutes to eat. And so that's definitely problematic for whoever gets called that day. And they explain that sometimes it's always the same tables getting called last, and so those kids really don't have enough time to eat lunch, and it's not really accepted to take their lunch to their next class. So that was definitely one thing that all three grades shared, is just the lines for breakfast and lunch are getting really long. But other than that, it was very positive, and they had a lot of really good things to say about the school, so it was really nice to hear. So just overall in our district, focusing less on Martha Brown, we just had homecoming a little bit ago, and that was a success. Just a week or two ago, there were new members inducted into the Student Hall of Fame, the Alumni Wall of Fame, and the Educator Wall of Distinction during the Fairport Family Celebration event. At the elementary schools this Friday, the fall crawl is happening. And next week we have the Red Ribbon Week, which is district-wide. Coming up in early November, we have the JA Northside musical November 1st, the Martha Brown play November 14th and 15th, and then the Fairport High School play November 13th and 15th. So good representation from our theater. And then just a few weeks ago, the seniors at Fairport High School went on leadership trip, and I was one of them, and it was a very successful trip. It was the most students they had ever brought. We had 18 different groups on different topics, and it was a very successful trip, and we got to go to really cool places and meet with like the FBI. One group got a private tour of the Supreme Court, and they met a Supreme Court judge, and yeah, so it was very successful.
There's a lot coming up. We've got a lot of great teams right now. You know, girls soccer, really great. But sectionals for many teams is right around the corner, so that's really exciting. The senior trip, which is November 6th through the 8th to Boston, which Nora and a lot of other people will be attending and are really exciting. The fall play, which was already mentioned. The last regular season football game on Friday. So the end of the seasons, which means winter sports, which is nice. Pink Out Games for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Members of the varsity girls tennis team have advanced to sectionals, and the varsity golf team had a few members that were at sectionals this past Sunday, and one actually got 4th place. So Harper Dittman, she got 4th place, which is really exciting. Senior nights for a lot of teams, and then the fall crawl. And yeah, this past week we had the blood drive at FHS, which was really cool to see, like everyone doing something good. And yeah, just a lot of good stuff all around. Yeah.
And we'll be hearing more from you during our consolidation corner. So thank you for pointing that out to me when we were meeting, and that's a great place for you to continue your report.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for, thank you. Okay, so I'm up next with the president's report. I'll try to keep it short because I know we've had lots of presentations today. So just thank you to all of the students and families that took time to be here tonight. I know many of them left, but we greatly appreciate it. I know parents in the district are very busy, as you just mentioned, with so many different activities that are happening this time of the year. So I think as a board, we're really grateful for people making the time to be here tonight. The end of September and beginning of October is always very busy across the board, whether it's information nights, play rehearsals, clubs starting, and lots of sporting events. So wanted to point out a few things. First of all, thank you to the community for voting for the 2025 Capital Improvement Project on September 30th. It feels like it was
That was like a year ago.
so long ago. And we had a presentation already in our workshop just talking about the next steps with that project that will impact our K-8 building. So we're thrilled to move forward with that. Also back in September, just wanted to thank our Minerva DeLand folks. We had the opportunity to visit as a board and learn from the staff and students that were there. So that was a really nice opportunity. I think someone mentioned, maybe it was Jan, that's our favorite part of being on the board, being able to go to the classrooms in the schools and really see what's happening within those classrooms. We were also able to meet with the special ed department last Friday, and we were able to learn about different programs that we have, trends and things that might be coming down the line as well within our district, and things that might be happening outside of our district as well. So I think we all appreciated the time that they took to meet with us, share information, and answer the many questions that we had as a board. So let's see here. Finally, I did want to mention homecoming, which took place, really it's a span of many days, the 9th of October through 11th. Again, feels like it was so long ago. But I did want to thank the numerous people that really came together to put on all of the events. The 2025 celebration of Fairport Family was a wonderful opportunity to honor our alumni, staff, and students who have really touched the lives of countless people in our community. I was out of town with some Fairport cross-country runners, so unfortunately I missed the actual homecoming night festivities. So I asked Mary Caitlin if she could just comment a little bit on it since I wasn't there.
When they say it takes a village, man, to put homecoming together, from our bus drivers who are doing the shuttles, our sentries, our administrators, the PTAs running the kids zones, it is just possibly my kids' favorite night of the year. And they're absolute chaos with funnel cake and cotton candy and rolling down the hill a lot of times. But the soccer game was outstanding and it was just a wonderful celebration. I know we had to pivot for some traditional aspects of it, but I don't think anybody even noticed. It was just such a fun celebration. Fireworks were great. And I just can't say enough for how much goes into moving all those puzzle pieces so that everybody is safe, able to celebrate together, and to get home safe. So huge thank you to everybody who makes that happen for the community.
Thanks. So next up, we have Mr. Provenzano with the superintendent's report.
You're right. You're right. It seemed like it was like months ago, right? And it was an amazing event, second to none. I don't think there's a community that could pull it off the way that Fairport pulls it off. Lindsay, FHS team, start planning in the spring to make it come to life for everybody else. And we appreciate all the efforts behind it. Sarah, that was amazing. I think this is your second Board of Education recognition. You did it many times as a PTA rep, and you're really doing a great job of adding a lot of substance and meaning to the night. So thank you.
Every year I think, oh, I feel bad that we're like spending time on that, and then every year I get teary, so I really just appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it was very moving, and everyone spoke from the heart. And
I
it
need
was
to bring
beautiful.
tissues
Right.
next time.
Right, never gets old. I certainly appreciate all that goes into it. I think echoing what Erica was saying, we want to say thank you to our community. 83% approval rate. That really felt good. That speaks to our community's belief in our schools and their belief in facilities planning. Really, we started talking about this close to 9 years ago with the District Advisory Council, and going through multiple different projects, it really feels good that people still believe in what we're trying to accomplish. As we continue to move through our strategic planning, we will continue to check in with our community about facilities planning to update our strategic plan. But of the 151 people who shared this information, and we do read it, it means a lot, but 90% really thought the project met our district's needs and the important things that influence their decisions. People, again, believe in the facilities, and that zero additional tax impact was really important, and that's a credit to the board of making sure that we were being stewards to our greater community. And the heart to support our students in programming, making sure we have warm and welcoming facilities were a priority. Students and teachers deserve up-to-date facilities. It's about improving education for our students, their future. It's investing in our educators to help our children by giving them quality facilities. Again, safety at the forefront of people's minds. These are the top thoughts. All the things that we talked about close to 10 years ago are still alive and well in the soul of our community, and the 83% was an indicator that it's still holding true. I'm not going to get into this timeline. You're going to be seeing this timeline for the next several months into next several years. And again, this is always subject to some modifications, but just to give everyone the idea of where we're headed. This was a topic at the workshop as well. The phase one of the project, Martha Brown's, JP, and Brooks Hill, was really, again, because of project phasing and tax, making sure that we take advantage of aid in schools, right? And you'll see that we're starting those meetings right now. I was just at JA the other day, and Mr. Charno said, yeah, I had a bunch of architects in here talking to our team about what this project's gonna look like. Yeah, it's gonna happen. And we're starting that right now. We're gonna be submitting to SED soon, and then we're gonna be bidding the project in 2027. And you'll see the project is gonna be in construction in 2028. And while that's happening, we are gonna be starting phase two, Northside Dudley, Jefferson Avenue. Again, this is to maximize state aid. That's why we're waiting, or that's why they're there in that second phase. And you'll see by 2029, both projects will be closing out. Exciting things happening in our K facilities. I'm not going to go over, bit by bit. There'll be time to do that in the future. One thing that we talk about is student achievement. Really proud of our MTSS work. We talk about our facilities. That's exciting, but the real exciting stuff is the learning that's happening in the classroom and the collaboration that is going on and the investments that we make in teaching and learning and making sure we have a viable curriculum so our students can excel and achieve. Bright spot.
Making a transition from grade 5 to grade 6 it's huge. It's really big. And they're coming and all of a sudden it feels very overwhelming. And so they have, 8 classes that they're sitting in, a lot more information, a lot more to manage. I see myself as a connector or a weaver of knowledge. So I work very closely with the other teachers on the team to do that, because that gives the students an opportunity to see their learning in a more holistic way. When they can create the relationships between the information and the knowledge and the material between classes, then they have a greater understanding.
This summer, with the curriculum writing for 6th grade ELA, all the teachers came together and thought about how could we make them more cohesive and aligned so that the students were getting the most of it.
And you made the connections to Maru really well, Mrs. Hetrick.
So that's how Maru and the Early People unit actually came together, because we noticed that the kids weren't making the connection from one subject to the other. So by bringing the literature in and having that being read at the same time simultaneously with our Early People's unit, they made the connection on their own.
That kind of lets them visualize the time period and what's happening. So I think making the connection is huge, because there's so much exposure. Even my students who struggle are raising their hands in both social studies and English and making those connections, because they're hearing it more. They're getting that, second time to hear the information. So it's really helpful for them as well.
If you finish, you have an extra extension activity here where you can then use your information from your Venn diagram to create or generate a question.
Students who are ready and they're independent, they can go ahead and move at their own pace and their level, and they might get deeper into the topic. They might extend it with some additional reading or something that's related to what we're doing. We provide tasks that are designed at multiple levels of difficulty, but focused on the same core standard.
And then we do a project where they get independent books. So some of them are already through 3 books, where other kids are still working on their first one. So we definitely have different things in the classroom that help with the differentiation and also the enrichment for the kids who need that.
Yes, exactly. They're trying to survive.
We're seeing a lot more student growth, and this year I'm hearing it more, even in the hallways. The kids will leave and I can hear them talking about the Early People or Maru, where maybe in the past they didn't have those connections because we weren't timed as well.
Things as little as like the exit ticket walking out, I could see their growth within that day.
Tell what you believe, because, and tell why. Okay, so you can do this as your exit ticket.
The kids are really learning from it, and it's fun. I'm so fortunate to be in all of the ICT classes, so I can see what they're doing in every single class and make that connection for them. It's really cool to see that and see them in different settings.
They remember it better. It's staying in their memory and it's making more sense to them. And what I really see is I begin to see more class participation because the students feel more confident. And that's what we want as learners. We want to meet them all where they are and have them see the relationships and the connections and to feel confident and participate in class.
I am a big believer when you put educators in the room and you give them a task around a common goal, this being our curriculum and curriculum design. they will produce amazing things and get our students to produce amazing things. So hats off again to the curriculum instruction team led by Dr. T, really wiring all of our grade levels to learn and produce great things. And as we talk about being accountable to our community, to the goals that we have key performance indicators. These are something that we have been developing and we're proud to continue to share as we move along. But the key performance indicator page lives on fairport.org under the district drop-down menu. On the KPI page, you'll find an outline of the key performance indicators and link to the strategic plan. If you scroll down, you can expand each of the KPI banners to show more details about the indicators, the district goals, and important historical data. There are 5 quantitative indicators, 4 that focus on student achievement and measures of student success, and 1 that measures the fiscal health of our school district. A reminder that the data used to update these KPIs are often dependent on outside factors. For example, results of New York State assessments. Grades 2 through 8 arrive in the fall of the following year, while results of Regents exams are usually derived during the summer. There are 4 qualitative indicators that we have highlighted on the page, including 2 ongoing capital improvement projects, continued development of shifted school start time and end times, and consolidation of the 9th grade into Fairport High School. We continue to mark district progress and benchmarks in these efforts and are proud to show our work on this public dashboard. But it's always important to recognize there's a story behind the data. So when you're looking at the data, stay tuned during these workshops because we developed that story. Thank you to, again, Lindsay and Dr. T for refining this and making sure that we continue to grow in this way of celebrating our success. That's all I have for now, and we look forward to the consolidation corner.
That was really well timed.
That's all Lindsay. She was really hard on me about that. So
It's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we have board member committee reports. If anybody wanted to share, I know things are kind of just ramping up, so there may not have been a lot.
You want to do audit finance?
I was going to do it in both things.
Oh, go for it.
You can do audit finance.
Okay.
So we had collaboration efforts. Oh, thanks. Their collaboration efforts in connections with the town. I got 2 things. Their collaboration between the district and the town. And kind of, I had this Venn diagram in my head as they were speaking, as they mentioned a different category or a different partnership. I was kind of thinking of the similar aligned partnership that we have in Fairport. So, and you kind of forget all the things that we do in connection. Like I was reminded of, like, our elementary schools have like the movie nights at the amphitheater. We provide the shuttles for Canal Days. Great partnership with our law enforcement. You work really closely with them. So just, again, it's just a reminder of our great collaboration. But at another time down the road, they did bring up some other partnerships in where they work with the DPW and other municipalities. So I think that might be, interesting to explore. But again, it's just always interesting to see how we can kind of further bring the town of Barrington, Village of Fairport, and our district together.
We also had audit finance, as you heard mentioned, so I won't go over the audit finance part because that was pretty well detailed. We talked about our draft budget goals and our draft budget calendar because, exciting spoiler, the 26-27 budgets planning is well underway. So we're on that. And then we talked a little bit about the plan for the internal audit plan. We were kind of offset a cycle, and Mr. Nardone, please correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. We were off, so we're going to try and get 2 done this year. The first is going to be the risk assessment.
So we did the risk assessment for 24-25. We are just waiting on the control report, which will be done here in the next month or 2. And then we start the 25-26 risk assessment in January and finish that report by May. So absolutely correct.
Thank you. So we're offset there, but everything is looking great, and it was a great conversation with Mr. Zuber, who was here this night.
I had my first meeting with the Tech Task Force Committee, which was great. Got to talk with Tom and his team, and got a lot of background on decisions that have been made to date, which was really helpful, and understanding of how we adopt new hardware and software and pilot programs and all that. So looking forward to continue to be involved there.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Brian Moritz over there, Dr. Brian Moritz. We are both on the legislative committee, and we did have a meeting to look at papers that we'll be using to advocate in terms of different topics important to our school district, important to Monroe County schools. And Brian is part of the team, and Mr. Provenzano here, they joined together to work on the papers that we'll be sharing with our representatives across the state. And you also participated in the lengthy call that is a statewide thing. So I just wanted to thank you for putting that time in.
No, and you guys all should have gotten the results from that meeting from NISBA. Nothing, it was the annual the business meeting and resolutions. As you know, I had to step away for reasons. But no surprises, I think, on any of them. There was the usual lively discussions, but nothing out of the realm of ordinary, and again, kind of informing our statewide advocacy efforts over the next several years. The one that was notable for us, a proposed sunsetting resolution about incorporating UPK into foundation aid funding was approved, overwhelmingly approved. So that's going to be an official advocacy point at the state level. I know it's something we care about deeply here, so.
Are we good? Okay, so we're up to our board discussion action items, and I need a motion to approve the bond resolution as attached.
So moved.
From Mary Caitlin, Brian, any discussion? No? Okay. All in favor? Aye, 7-0. I need a motion to adopt the resolution for the 2023 capital improvement project pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act as attached. Second. Jan, Nicole, discussion?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's just important that this discussion occurs here in public. We have a unique opportunity to install lights at the multi-purpose field at no additional cost to the Fairport community. Now, again, to be specific, that is what we know in the spring as the softball, baseball fields. In the fall, it's a multi-use field from soccer, field hockey, and even lacrosse will be able to get on there throughout the spring as well. As you've been informed, construction bids came in favorably back in April, leaving the district with unallocated dollars to designate to district's needs at the FHS facility. Given the change in start times in 2020-26, our students would benefit from additional lighting to maximize their ability to use the fields in the fall and spring seasons, since they are ending school an hour and 15 minutes later. Again, the CIP in 2020-23, when it was being publicized, one could not predict there would be a surplus and favorable bids, and in this that we would actually be in this position to finalize start times. So in good conscience, I think that I needed to bring this forward to the board. I also know, by being in the community, a proud community member, this is an ongoing conversation. This is an opportunity for discussion. I see Mallory, shaking her head over there too, but I want to stop talking and let the board discuss.
So this is just taking the very first preliminary step toward, if we were to even do this, we have to start here with the seeker. So this is just like almost step zero before we even start to really talk about it in the community and with stakeholders.
So I shared with the board a draft timeline. 100%, I would anticipate us doing a community forum between now and November 16th. So more people can weigh in on it. I think Mallory's trying to say some.
I do know this has been like a topic of conversation a lot, especially like even just when I'm talking with my family and stuff, because I play soccer and my sister plays soccer, but we're also in clubs and all this stuff. So it's really important to have more lights because only the main turf right now really has lights. And we use the back turf a lot right now for practices because there's always games and other practices on each field, especially right now with all the construction going on. So it's really hard to find field space as it is already. And then as it gets later and darker earlier, it's really hard to find space where you can practice with being able to see a ball coming at you. And as a goalie, I really appreciate that. So, but it is like, it's nice to know that there are ideas and ways, because if we get out way later and practices are pushed back for everyone, I think it is important to think about those things. So I know when we talked about it, I was really happy to hear that there are ideas to fix the problems.
And even now, regardless of the time, change, we know it's getting dark so early, so it really eliminates a lot of time that the fields could be used.
So I guess my wonder, we have our building condition survey, and it always has. There is a honey-to-do list or honey-do list for this district that is unending. Why is this the recommended priority? Why are we looking at this?
That's a great question. Firstly, we will never, I don't want to say never, I would be surprised if we ever have an opportunity to address not only like a school need, a community need at no additional cost to the taxpayer, right? So that moves it up to the list because so many people will be able to benefit from it, and we'd be able to do so many good things for our students and our community as a whole. Yes, there's other pieces that would help us, prioritize things that need to be developed and managed here. But when you're creating a project, you're trying to get as many different parts, and this would add a part that would definitely satisfy a community need. As Mallory said better than I could say.
Are we limited to projects that are at least somewhat related to the 2023 project as well? Like, we can't really use this money for some random other building that wasn't part of the original.
Yeah, Jeremy, if you want to speak to that piece, yes. I mean, we're committed
I just want to
to Fairport High School, but I think Jeremy wanted to, because I know that he was.
Yeah, great question. So whenever we're looking at additional scope in a project, you have to start at the proposition. So the proposition for the 2023 project only stated Fairport High School and Martha Brown. So it eliminates any possibility of doing work at any other school unless you go out for a revote. So then you look at those two schools, you look at the proposition, you look at the seeker language. You can do anything as long as it follows those two guidelines. So we work with our bond counsel, we work with our financial advisors, and we also have emails with Fcsd to make sure that whatever we do falls under that eatability so that we don't have to go back out to the taxpayer.
Any other questions, comments?
I guess so normally when we do a seeker, I think we go pretty broad, and then that way it'll cover more things. So, but we didn't have lights in our broad seeker last time, so that's why we need to do this.
We
Just
did.
confirm-
We
oh,
did have.
okay.
We did have lights. We're just being extra thoughtful and thorough in our approach.
Okay.
Electrification. So if you take a look at the lights that are happening in the parking lot, right? So it did cover the lights. So we're just doing our due diligence, and I do wholeheartedly believe that we need to bring this out to the community too. So this is an opportunity to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's from that SED piece, but also to bring it to the community for discussion in the next 20 days or so.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, 7-0. Which leads us to consolidation corner.
My favorite part of the whole, I think I'm the only one who's excited about the consolidation, but I really believe and I appreciate the board's commitment to having us talk about the consolidation, because it is something that is so important for our community, our school community, our students and staff and families alike. We've been working on all of the 8 pillars of consolidation. And in fact, under a separate cover, I'm going to be sharing more details. So you'll get a more thorough report. This is a cursory report of all the different things relative to consolidation. And it's going to start with Mr. Clark, and our ex officios are going to be sharing some thoughts about the first pillar, our students, and the corresponding ones, 3, 6, and 7, Mr. Clark will take care of. So.
Yeah, so tying in a little bit with, there's some crossover between the pillars. You know, the first thing I would share is like we have our first joint faculty meeting in October where we bring the staffs together. And the focus of that is some professional development around function-based thinking and trying to meet our kids where they're at. So, you know, in terms of aligning our social emotional multi-tiered system of support, you know, Lisa Benson and Kathy Conti, one of our behavior specialists, have put together training, and we're welcoming our staff together. You remember last year, first time we pulled the staffs together, it was more about meeting people. It was more about like getting familiar with the two staffs. And while that's definitely going to be a focus, we have donuts from Schutz. You know, it's that time of year. We're going to spend more of our time really doing actual work on how do we support our students, and really excited about that piece of things. And you wanted me to jump down to 3 as well,
I would
right?
just, like, since we're focusing on our students,
Yeah.
What were some of your takeaways? Because I know you wanted to add.
Well, just when we went to Martha Brown, we got to speak specifically to the 8th graders on just sort of how they're feeling overall on moving straight to the high school next year. And overall, I'd say it was very positive. Like, they were obviously definitely a little bit nervous, but I think moving to a new school, no matter what, you'll be nervous. But overall, they gave us really great feedback, and they said the only thing, they feel a bit overwhelmed just because they know that there's a lot of them and they're moving in with the sophomores as well. And so there'll be 2 grades coming into the high school, and so they know that it's going to be a lot for the seniors and juniors and the teachers to adjust to, and they're sort of feeling that. So they said they were a bit overwhelmed just knowing what a big change it'll be for everyone, not just them, but that they're very excited for the high school, and we got to share with them like some of the opportunities, like clubs and classes that they get to take, and they seem very excited, and they were very like much looking forward to coming to the high school. And we spoke to them about the time change, and they had a lot of great thoughts on that, and they really spoke about how they think it'll be really beneficial for students, especially like older high school students getting to sleep in a little bit more, and they gave a lot of good feedback about that, but overall very positive, and they're excited for the time change. And really the biggest thing they said was that they're very excited to come to the high school and all the opportunities it presents, and they just hope that all of the teachers and students are welcoming, like the seniors and juniors. And I think I can speak that all of the teachers at the high school are very welcoming, and I think like students and teachers alike will be understanding, because it's not just a change for the incoming freshmen, but for everyone. And so, yeah, but they seemed to have a very positive outlook on it, and they're excited, and I think they'll do great at the high school. The only like concern they brought up was, they said they're very excited and their parents might be the ones who are more worried than they are. Yes. Just for, like, many of them spoke about how they like watch their younger siblings after school, or they babysit after school. And I did that for the first 2 years of high school as a freshman and sophomore. I nannied elementary kids after school. And so a lot of them spoke about how their parents are more concerned about that. But I know we already have a lot of opportunities for like after school programs at the different elementary schools and stuff. And so I think that'll definitely be like a big change for everyone to get used to. But I think, we'll find a way around it. But overall, the students seemed excited, and I think I won't be here, but I think it will go good for all of them. Yeah. And also, they mentioned earlier, me and Mallory had the opportunity to be in the tech task force meeting yesterday. And so we just got the opportunity to share like our opinions on like the future of technology at the high school, and we're trying out these iPads to see how they'll go.
We like them.
We really like them, yeah.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
As I was watching them.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
We're still figuring it out, but yeah.
Yeah. So it was a really good opportunity, and we both enjoy using the iPads a lot. But yeah, I just want to mention that was a really good opportunity, and we got to share like our opinions on them. And yeah, we're just grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Mallory, anything you want to add relative to the consolidation, or that?
Not really, just same things that Nora said. The 8th graders were really excited. I talked to them Nora and I both we had a really good conversation with them. We were like going back and forth and trying to like help them out a little bit through like their worries, because we're like, I know it's like scary, but the ninth graders right now and the eighth graders are kind of feeling the same thing. Like they're both going to the high school, so we told them like it shouldn't be as big of a deal because you're the youngest, but there's also a whole set of kids that haven't been to the school too, and really their only concerns were the after school care and then also just like the traffic in the hallways and stuff, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And we talked about it, and I will be here, so I was trying to be like there's no like everyone, yeah, the first week maybe it'll feel like the seniors and juniors are so big and scary and stuff, but I think everyone around here is very welcoming, and it'll be a relatively smooth transition.
Well,
So
the aftercare piece will be developed
Yeah.
this coming meeting and into next month. We'll be hearing more. But I would also say that I was CC'd to an email, the communication plan of trying to reach out to our 8th and 9th and then our 9th and 10th grade students. And I know that we're going to be getting our families involved too with some focus groups, inviting them right to Fairport High School to meet with them, the 8, 9, 9, go 10, so we can hear from them, try to address their concerns and learn from them too, because there's lots of things that we don't probably know what they're thinking, and we're looking forward to doing that, but that's going to be on cold nights in January.
Well, in advance of that too, just to kind of add just a little bit to that, we have a meeting tomorrow led by Deb Miles and Francine Newtown as our lead school counselor to meet with our 8th grade school counselors because we're ramping up, like you're ramping up your budget process, we're ramping up the master schedule process, which will dictate so many of the decisions that we'll be reporting back on later. And they will also answer some of the questions that the kids have in terms of like courses that they're signing up for and all that kind of stuff. So step one is to meet with those counselors to make them aware of like our process, because they're used to working with just the staff at Minerva DeLand, and now they'll be working with FHS directly and collaborating on that.
Spoiler alert, that's
Yeah,
going to be
spoiler alert,
November.
yeah.
We're talking course guide, so we're looking forward to bringing that.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far into that part.
So what we'll do is we'll jump to 6 and 7, district operations and facilities use plans. This is exciting as well. Well, as far as these things go.
Yeah, so and my thanks to Lindsay. She's making this look really nice. Like we all play in Canva a little bit to make sure that what we're putting out to staff is really, really understandable. And we had some brainstorming, and what came out of that, Lindsay did an exceptional job of really breaking down in the building of actually Minerva DeLand how staff are going to access their needs when it comes to that packing piece of things. So we reported out that there was a moving plan. We've shared that with staff. That was the broad strokes, and this is more of that finite detail. And it's already linked on the staff webpage so that it's accessible. And again, thanks to Lindsay for the back end piece of that and making sure that it's, again, readily available. And that's in concert with monthly lead teacher meetings. We had our joint lead teacher meeting to check in and see where people are at and getting their materials. I just, for example, had our librarian said, I need 25 more banker boxes because we're continuing to consolidate collection. And, much of their work they did last year, but now that we're getting closer, again, they continue. It's just a great mindset that everybody's in to say, like, where's the overlap and what do we need to do to take care of that? And meeting with lead teachers to talk about that. I met with Julie Marshall today of science to say, how are you supporting, Cameron Hughes down at Minerva DeLand to understand what they have to pack in science, because it's different. And I just want to share this anecdote with you just to have you understand. So much of it is organic. Like we're putting systems in place, we're putting process in place, but they on their own have decided that when they come up for shared meetings, they're bringing up the last unit. They're already going to start stocking our science classrooms. Like when they finish units, those classrooms they're being used by us, but the storage is not. We're using them as a test center, which doesn't require any storage, and we're using it.
That's not in my plan.
I know that, but it's again like this is what our staff is.
They're smarter
This is
than
what our staff does,
that's
right?
for sure,
So we assumed, and I think I've kind of shared in the past, like we have these broad stroke ideas, and when we're going to move in June, I'm hopeful based on what they're sharing that it might be an afterthought. Like we're not going to have to need this massive migration because they, for their own comfort, have decided we're just going to bring it up as we go, and so it'd be ideal for them to just come over with the boxes and their files in it, and not have to worry about the rocks and the planets and all this stuff that we're doing in earth science. But they're having those conversations now and making their own plans.
I
which
think
is great.
that's the general principle is like, yeah, sure, there's an outline, it's accessible, because some people may need this process, but then I like the organic piece of, hey, we're gonna manage this in a way that's good for our department and for my profession.
Well, like anything else, it's got to be flexible.
Yeah.
And there will come a time when we have to move big things, and that's why I have Aaron. I'm going to put in work orders and to bring that kind of stuff over, and we will get there. We've committed to working with Don and his crew and everybody within leadership to make sure that the process is there and people feel comfortable where they're at. So that's going really well.
We do move big things.
We do move big things,
Right.
yeah.
So, yes, pillars, this is pillars. But anyways, thank you for sharing, giving a high level overview of these pillars that we've been committed to, and our students, thanks for adding. At any point in time, please feel free to continue to add. Start time change relative to transportation as well, pillar 2. Worth repeating, even though there's been communication out. Mr. Nardone's going to talk a little bit about this pillar.
Yes, I just want to take a look at this slide. It looks beautiful. Thank you for Lindsay. We were actually sitting in my office for a little bit, just looking at it and looking at all the elementaries being on the same tier is just incredible. So,
Are you on, Mr. Nardone?
Yep, it's on. Am I not talking into it? My apologies. Usually I have never been said that I do not talk loud enough, so I am sorry. So our new start and end times for 26-27, all elementary schools are on the same tier. So we currently have a 3-tier bus system. We are dropping it down to a 2-tier bus system. Elementary will be dropped off at 7:30. Most of the kids will be picked up around that 6:50 time, 6:45, 6:50, for a drop-off time at 7:30. School will start at 7:45 and run till 2:05. There's no change in the length of the day for elementary school. And then buses depart from the school. It takes anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, so we're going on the high end and saying 2:20 for a depart time. Middle school and high school is on their own tier, and that's an 8:30 drop-off time. So as soon as we drop off at the elementary school at 7:30, we begin our second tier runs and drop off at 8:30 at the middle high school. Then we will, school start time is at 8:40 for an end time at 3:25, and we depart again 10 to 15 minutes, so it's anywhere from that 3:35 to 3:40. I did want to give a shout out. This would not be possible without the work from John Kidd and Stephanie in our transportation department. All the hard work that they put into it, I want to say a huge thank you to them. Working on this was not easy. It was a lot of hours, a lot of, it's hard enough just to get the runs done by August for bid time. They not only did that, but they did it a full year in advance to make sure this was possible. So I want to express my gratitude to them. We are championing this with our drivers right now, so our drivers are getting used to this, and we anticipate everything's going to go well. So any questions on this? Thank you.
So I saw a question online. Don't worry, I'm not going to go engage in Facebook conversations, but in case that person happens to be listening. So with the tiers, like multiple schools being on the same tier, sort of like how it is now, but will students, like one bus would only have JP students, or is there
They
any
won't, we don't
mixing?
anticipate mixing grades.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that that's a community interest, mixing schools, excuse me. For example, you won't be seeing high schoolers, with middle schoolers, right? So the expectation is that they will be on their buses.
But
Age appropriate.
and the North Side and Dudley go together, though?
Yes.
Okay.
That
I
won't change.
didn't have kids there before, so I wasn't sure. Okay, thanks.
Just living in the elementary world, I've gotten great feedback from parents, especially about all of the elementary schools being at the same time. So this is just huge, and it's really exciting for the little people, in my life at least.
And again, I appreciate the efforts of the team working hard to get it to 325. That will make a difference for our students and for our staff, the commitments that they have as well.
Definitely appreciate the creative problem solving and all of the effort that went into just visiting and revisiting and revisiting this so many times to make it
Apollo
happen.
13, all right? Apollo 13, like I said, it was a great effort. With the time change comes the very important conversation of rep care. Dr. T is going to take this leg. She's done a great job of working through the nuances of that with our partners with the YMCA.
Hi. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. Along with that time change, we know comes a shift in family responsibilities, right? Especially for our younger families. And so we were charged as a district to meet the responses of our community when we talked about making this time change. And through the thought exchanges and surveys, we really felt the onus as a district to research affordable childcare. And so we are so pleased to announce that as long as the board approves our agreement in a few minutes, that we will be entering into a wrap care agreement with the YMCA, and my friend Terrence is here, who is going to work with us on our partnership and continues to be a collaborative partner. So we researched all sorts of models, including running our own. We looked at neighboring models, Greece and Webster, to see how they run their models. We talked to our current partners, which included the YMCA, but also the Parrington Rec Center. And we talked about, these are the criteria that we have: price point, wrap care, before and after. Could you please also offer the option of vacation days, et cetera? And the Y came back and met us with our demands. If you could just go forward. So why the Y? Well, the biggest reason for us is that they're a trusted partner, and they have been for many, many years. I asked Terrence, how long? He's like, I don't know, probably over 30. So it's been a long time that we've worked with the YMCA, and they've been in our buildings consistently without a formal agreement. And so what we're proposing today is a formal agreement to continue that partnership. The Y also has the ability to run both AM and PM sessions. They would start at 6:45 a.m. if you're a family that needs to get off to work, and then they would run after school until 6 o'clock in all 4 of our buildings. They also have the ability to scale up and meet the needs of our community. So if we have 400 families that need wrap care, the Y can meet our needs. So we're excited about that. They also, this one's a big one, are licensed to provide wrap care for UPK students. And so sometimes that's a barrier for some of our families to say yes when they get a seat if they don't have wrap care available.
Yeah, I
but the
know.
Y can do that for us.
I didn't know that.
We're so excited about that. That's a huge win for us. And then the other thing that I really think is important is that the YMCA has the ability to navigate the DSS system. So for families that are receiving financial assistance from the state or the government, the YMCA knows how to navigate that very complicated system. They also have the ability through generous donations to offer scholarships for families that are on the border of needing help and don't quite qualify for that state assistance. So we are thrilled for that. And then the biggest piece for us also was that the Y is going to recognize the member rate. So you do not have to be a member of the Y next year to get the YMCA member rate. That is a huge price break for everyone. And we are looking forward to Terrence and his team coming back next month to share more details with us. And we just are thrilled to move forward with this partnership.
Yeah, Terrence is here.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming, Terrence.
So are we?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Can I ask a question about the UPK piece, or is that still?
If I can answer it, I'm happy to.
Is the idea with that it would like be within the same classrooms where UPK is being held? They'd be able to then.
Yeah, so we'll work out where. So it depends on the hours that we're running programs with the new start time. So we're going to figure that part out, and then what available space is in the building without interrupting programming that's already happening in the building. So it might be right in the classroom until the rest of the space opens up, and then those kids will integrate with other 5- and 6-year-olds that are in the building. So
also look at enrollment too, and if there's ways to consolidate, if there's if there's just the need to stay at their own buildings because demand is so great, and I think that's going to be played out over the next several months.
A couple of our UPK programs already do offer wrap care, our offsite programs, but those seats are very limited, and we do currently house programs in our buildings, so the Y would help us with that wrap care, so we're really happy about that.
So is that a pretty sure thing? That's what we're planning to offer, or is that like it's a possibility somewhere down
No,
the road?
the Y's going to definitely do UPK wrap care.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, we're going to be.
And we're going to let the Y tell the story. So the board, if the board enthusiastically accepts this, and that will give Terrence some time to go back, and we don't want to do it all in one night and do a spoiler alert. So the first step would to have the discussion in a little bit, and then. But Dr. T did a great job managing and collaborating with the Y partners too. So thank you. So that is Consolidation Corner, right? Which brings us to.
See a 5-minute.
No, this
No,
is
when we
good.
dreamed it up over the summer, you're like, it's a quick 5-minute catch up for
I know, it's
consolidation,
like-
but there's so much exciting stuff.
Well, it's fun. So we're doing pep rallies. We're engaging in our interscholastic activities, the MTSS initiatives, and the story goes on. But we're consolidating,
Yeah.
and these things are happening behind the scenes, and constant attention to it. So I'm proud of the effort of where we are, but we still have a ways to go.
Yeah. Okay, well,
No action on the consent.
no, I'm moving on to the next exciting thing. So I need a motion that the Board of Education approve the facilities use agreement with the YMCA of Greater Rochester effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
So moved.
Lisa?
Second.
Brian? Any discussion? I know we had some just now.
Just real quick, huge thank you to the district. Like, I know when people see this, and as we talk more about it in November, it's going to be like, oh, okay, so there's Wrap Care. The weight and lift of this, and I know we've been getting updates for the last 2 years since the start time decision was made, but we know it's been so many meetings and so much work looking into all the best options to best fit our families and respond to that. I don't want to call it an outcry, but we're going to need help when the start times happen. So to take
And
that
I
on.
think that's kudos to the YMCA. We could not do it at a cost-effective way in as much as the Y will be able to do, and the resources that they have to help all families. So that's what I'm excited for is November.
Yeah.
They really stepped up and helped and collaborated with Fairport. So
Yeah.
thank you for that partnership.
Thank you. So exciting.
Any other? I think, okay, we're good?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seven.
Now we can say nice things about it.
Yes. You can stay longer if you'd like, but.
I know, now you're on it. You're like, yeah.
We got to get the.
Okay, so, yeah. Up next, I need a motion that the Board of Education approve the 2026-2027 budget goals.
So moved.
Second.
Mary Hanlon, Lisa, any discussion? We've talked about it. I know we had a draft before, so I think it looks good. All in favor? Aye, 7-0.
And again, thank you so much. This is so important to our team to have a path as we develop the next steps in 26, 27. I can't believe I'm saying that.
No, I know. Okay, on a related note, I need a motion that the Board of Education accepts the 2026-2027 budget calendar as attached.
So moved.
Brian? Nicole? Discussion around it? Again, happy for thoughtful planning. All in favor? Aye, 7-0.
Under the trunks in there, what's it called?
I know, I say under the trunk, yes. Motion that the Board of Education accepts the basic financial statements for year ended June 30th, 2025 as attached.
So moved.
Lisa?
Second.
Rich? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, 7-0. Motion that the Board of Education accepts the communicating internal control related matters letter for the year ending June 30th, 2025 as attached.
So moved.
Brian?
Second.
Lisa? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. I need a motion that the Board of Education approves the first readings of the policies attached.
So moved.
Brian? Second. Lisa? Any comment, Mary Kaylen? Anyone else on the committee?
So we did these back in September, but since our meetings were kind of offset, we didn't have an October meeting, so we'll be bringing another chunk in November for first reads. I'll just kind of update and refreshing. I'm excited, particularly for 8440, the homework policy. We made it much more general because we know our school improvement teams are working hard, coming up with the regulation and kind of aligning all of the homework work throughout the district. So exciting.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. 7-0. I need a motion that the Board of Ed approves retiring the policies attached. And this was, oh, God. Brian, Rich, discussion?
These two actually ended up somehow kind of duplicate policies. We had other policies that covered what were in these policies, so just somewhere along the lines, two policies got created. So just for tightening up the system, these will get retired, and they are covered in other places. We still do care about safety and security. We are not getting rid of that.
All in favor? Aye, 7-0. Next, I need a motion that the Board of Ed approve the field trip requests as attached. Brian? Nicole? I couldn't tell. Okay, Jan? Any discussion here? Yeah. Yeah, and I guess Sarah, again, thank you for getting these kind of in a consolidated, timely manner. Definitely helpful. Okay. All in favor? Aye. 7-0. Need a motion that the Board of Ed approved the attached school fundraising request. Brian?
Second.
Lisa? Discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye, 7-0. Always love donations. Motion that the Board of Education approves the following donation. Mary Caitlin?
That was
Nicole? I wasn't looking, so. Discussion? Thanks for the car. All in favor? Aye, 7-0. Motion that the Board of Ed approves the following extra classroom activities as attached.
So moved.
Lisa? Brian? Discussions? Okay, all in favor? Aye, 7-0. Which brings us to personnel. And up first, instructional, I need a motion to approve the following instructional staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Brian? Second. Mary Caitlin? Discussion?
On this particular agenda, there's a recommendation to accept the retirement notification for Mr. Loff, 7 years in the district. I know this is an emotional time for him. 33 years in education, 7 with Fairport. With regret, I'm making this recommendation.
Yeah, I reiterate the same. Well, but there will be a process, and you'll be with us for longer period of time. So
Effective September
thank
1st,
you.
2026. And if the board does accept this retirement, there'll be plenty of times to acknowledge and celebrate Doug's contributions and career here in Fairport.
Absolutely.
What's that?
Okay, any other? Okay, all in favor? Aye, 7-0. Okay.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. I know we'll celebrate more, just like, yeah, you were, I know.
Got to get us through one more hiring cycle, sir.
Okay, up next, I need a motion to approve the starting salaries for the personnel not covered by a collective bargaining unit for the 2025-26 school year as attached. Lisa?
You can't raise one
Nicole.
raise your hand and one speak. Like, that's really throwing it out here.
All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the following non-instructional and civil service staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Brian? Lisa? Great to see more bus stuff on there, of course. All in favor? Aye, 7-0. Athletics, motion to approve the following athletic staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Jan?
Second.
Rich? All in favor? Aye, 7-0. Yeah, we're moving ahead. Motion to approve the following memorandums of agreement as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Brian?
Second.
Mary Caitlin? All in favor? Aye, 7-0. And now we're at the consent calendar. I need a motion to approve the consent calendar. Ryan? Lisa? All in favor? Aye, 7-0. And I need a motion to enter into executive session to discuss matters pertaining to the attached information. Brian?
Second.
Mary Caitlin? All in favor? Aye. If you're viewing patiently at home, we will just reconvene to adjourn the meeting. So no more exciting information to come. Signing off.